So recently I made a more negative Battlefield 5 video. I know I don't like harping on the same game too many times, but I don't know, Battlefield 5 has been on my mind because, like I said in my last video about it, it's like 1/4 or 1/3 of a really good game that I enjoy playing, but it can't keep my attention. So I decided to hop on and play the new update that happened, and no, this is not a patch notes video. If you want to know about the newest Battlefield 5 patch, just look it up. But I will be touching on some of the things that affects gameplay. So some of the things that had me excited about this update is that you now passively take in health from health crates, similar to previous Battlefield games, while still keeping the ability to actually take the health pouches out of the box as well, visibility improvements, and overall some quality of life changes that make the game better. Again, this isn't a patch notes video, and really I just want to talk about how I felt playing the game after this newest update. Negative stuff out of the way first. If you don't like Battlefield 5 and you think it's boring, you think it's repetitive, you think it's stale, you think it's shallow, this update won't change anything, especially if you don't play Firestorm. I don't play Firestorm, I'm not a fan of Battle Royale, it's not my thing. So whatever changes they did to that don't really affect me. But yeah, if you didn't like hopping into a Battlefield 5 match of Conquest, this update might not change your mind. Also, I think the update added a glitch because the glitch wasn't there on my last play session, and then after the update it's there. If I get kills inside of mounted weapons of any kind, whether it's an AA cannon, artillery, a mounted machine gun, whatever it might be, as long as it's mounted, it's not like my own weapon, the game freezes and then unfreezes. So it has like this really big hitch every time I get a kill with a mounted weapon, so hopefully I don't need to reinstall the game. I can just do that overnight tonight and see if that fixes it, but it kind of just feels like they added in a new bug with their update, which is something they're kind of known to do. But for the most part, I haven't really noticed anything too bad. I'm tracking footsteps well, I can actually hear them, and I really like the new visibility change, and not so much like the lighting change on enemies, because enemies still kind of blend in with their backgrounds. But now, if you're looking directly at somebody within 8 meters, a red name pops up over their head. Now that, I like. Because, yeah, you might argue that it takes away some realism, but I don't really care. It's kind of how it was in Battlefield 4 as well, whereas if someone was, right next to you, right in front of you, within like a couple meters, I don't know, 8 to 10, something like that, then their name showed up, so they were easy to see in close quarters. We have to remember that Battlefield is a casual, competitive game. And Battlefield 5 is more Twitch shooter than milsim, so I really don't want to hear any crying about realism, because I think using the game's color palette, heavy contrast, weird shadows, like all of that, using that to your advantage to just kill somebody that can't even see you 5 feet in front of them, that sucks. I play on a 4K monitor, and I play with black equalizer turned up so I can see in dark corners, and Battlefield 5 has the biggest problem with enemies blending into their surroundings. That wouldn't be as big of a problem if the game had just, 3D spotting, but it doesn't. So, being able to see somebody 8 meters in front of you with a little name over their head, if you look at them, okay, it's not gonna, allow you to see them out of your peripheral better. But if you're looking right at somebody, if they're blending in to a broken wall, or a dark corner, or in a bush, then you can see them. Again, I don't think using this game's art style and color palette should allow you to hide from people looking directly at you. Again, out of all of my games, Battlefield 5 has the worst visibility out of all of my shooters. Like when I play games like Squad or Red Orchestra, I don't have this much trouble seeing people like I do in Battlefield 5. So I love this change, and also the tweaked lighting, I don't know, it didn't really affect it too much in my opinion, because in dark corners and against brown backgrounds, enemies are still weirdly hard to see. I've tried multiple video settings, I've tried super sharpening on and off, I have tried changing my black equalizer, it's just the game's art style that just doesn't, bring out players. Which competitively kind of sucks, but some people love the realism in it. I honestly don't care about realism when I play Battlefield, because Battlefield just isn't really a realistic game. And if you want to say, oh well, back in the day, I don't want to hear it. Battlefield has not been realistic since the first Bad Company, so you've been barking up the wrong franchise for a realistic game for a lot of years. If you're worried about realism, it would perplex me, Although, this game, as far as I know, still doesn't have any hardcore mode, which for those players that want to make Battlefield more, big air quotes, realistic, that does suck, and I don't think that's right. I don't know why they just kind of tossed the hardcore community aside. That was one of my favorite things in Battlefield 1 even, so I don't even know why it's gone. They could even leave all the stats and settings the same because the time to kill is pretty fast, and just completely remove the heads-up display. That would be kind of interesting. Anyway, enough rambling. So, yeah, I love the visibility changes. Even though there's that weird performance drop when I get kills with mounted weapons, I haven't noticed too many other glitches. But the passive healing, I only experienced it a little. And the reason is because no one in this game, on my teams and squads at the very least, seemed to want to actually throw down medkits. Everybody was playing support and everybody was playing recon. So that sucked. And if they weren't playing those, they were playing assault. I ran into very few medics in my play sessions today. And maybe I should have picked medic to really test it, but I'm really good with the Bren, and so I wanted to play with the Bren. In fact, the Bren felt a little broken today when I was playing with it, but I'm not going to complain. But I've heard that DICE wants to focus on bringing more maps and meaningful content into the game. I've heard that there's going to be a Pacific Theater update, which I imagine will be just like a single map and some weapons, and you get to play that map, 1 out of the 9 maps to show up. But part of me still looks forward to see what that's going to be about. Hopefully, whatever Pacific Theater maps they bring into the game, I hope are interesting and varied in comparison to the default maps we have right now. Now, they also added the Boys AT rifle, which is like an anti-tank rifle, which from what I saw in Level Cap's video, doesn't really seem to do much damage to vehicles, but is an absolute cheese machine when it comes to killing players. Like, he was a little bit more passive about it when he described it, but I don't know, I didn't like fighting it today. I just saw it as too useful, and I don't know, I think they should change it. I mean, you have to bipod it to aim down the scope, but the hip fire seems pretty damn accurate and consistent. It didn't make me rage or anything, but anytime I died by it, I felt like a little cheated. Like, I don't know. Maybe they'll tweak that, maybe they won't, maybe they don't need to, maybe I need to play more. But since it is an interesting weapon, I am actually going to be progressing through the Tides of War and trying to get it, so maybe I'll live stream that. Let me know if you want to see some Battlefield 5 live streams. So overall, this Battlefield 5 update kind of feels meh. It added a weird performance issue on my Xbox that I have never seen in any Battlefield game before, and the game is the same. Like, don't expect this to be a groundbreaking set of changes. If you read the patch notes, there's a lot of things they tweaked, but really the game is the game, and that's how it is. Like I said in a previous video, I liked what they were doing with Battlefield 5. I felt like they were saving it in some way. And this update does give me hope for that in some ways, but in other ways, I feel a little bit let down. And I really don't like the fact that they're also focusing on a Battle Royale mode. I have no interest in Battle Royale. This is totally subjective, totally personal, but that divvying up of resources and time really hurt Black Ops 4 for me, because of all of that time and resource that goes into Blackout when it comes to Black Ops 4, if all of that time and resource could have gone into the multiplayer, I think the multiplayer would be in a much better state right now. But they're constantly doing Blackout updates and events and things, and I know Battle Royale's big, I know I might be an outlier, but it's just not what I want out of Battlefield. I don't think Battlefield 5, and even Battlefield 1 and Hardline before it, I don't think they deliver a quality Battlefield experience as I like it. I've had my fun in Battlefield 1 for what it was, I've had my fun in Hardline, and I'm having fun in Battlefield 5 right now, but I don't think it nails what makes hopping into a conquest match of Battlefield feel special and interesting, varied. So that's how I'm feeling, right? I feel like they're just not fully realizing the coolest parts of Battlefield, and then they bring in a Battle Royale, and this big update leads with big Firestorm changes and new areas in Firestorm. It's like, you've released one map. The game's been out for half a year now. And even if you want to say it's a separate team working on Firestorm, I will still respond with, why couldn't that Firestorm team be devoted to multiplayer resources? Building on why I buy Battlefield when it comes out. If you're somebody that bought into Battlefield 5 for the Battle Royale experience, okay, good for you. I'm going to go out on a limb and say most people bought Battlefield 5 for a traditional Battlefield experience. And I don't think they've nailed that yet. The game does not feel big, the game does not feel special. Even if it's solid, it's not bad. It's not epic. I don't think it's better than Call of Duty. I don't think it's better than other games I could be playing on my PC. Now currently I'm in the mood for it, and currently I'm having fun with it. but I know it's not going to hold me. So, in conclusion, this update's meh. I don't like the fact that Firestorm's in this game. I think it takes away from the reason I personally play the series. And this update makes me hopeful for other updates, which is just a terrible place to be. You know, a big 6 gig update comes out. I guess this isn't, you know, the biggest update you've ever seen, but you know, a 6 gig update comes out and all it does is whet my beak for something else I have to wait for. And I feel like I've just been in a perpetual state of waiting, really ever since Battlefield Hardline's life cycle was over. But honestly, since Battlefield 5's come out, I've just been waiting. Where's the selling point? The gunplay is good, tucking and rolling is badass, you know, the graphics are pretty, but I mean, where is that thing? Where is that only in Battlefield experience that only Battlefield knows how to bring? So yeah, there's fun to be had, and the update's a step in the right direction in a lot of ways in my opinion, but at the end of the day, I'm still just waiting. Waiting for the next update, waiting for more content, and although that might make me sound entitled, I don't think I can be argued with when I say this game is very, very dry. I felt the same way and said the same things about Battlefield 1 as well. The base game of Battlefield 1 felt dry and drained, and this game, honestly, more so. So here's to better things, and if a DICE developer watches this video and you get to this point, which is unlikely, but if you do, look, I know very little about game development, but I know that it's hard, so I don't like making a "and now I just want more" style of video right after you do a nice update, but I am waiting for more, and I hope you guys don't let us down, because I'm a longtime player of this series, and yeah, see you when I see you guys. Goodbye.